Well, boy howdy, we are back in the garage and back on our mini truck. And we are getting dang close, guys. I'm seriously, it doesn't look like it, but we are, trust me. Today, I think that we need to jump back into a little bit more custom metal work, specifically the underside of the hood. This whole area here, and right now, it's looking kind of rough. We need to recreate this brace here that we cut out, do something up here, something with these areas here, and really, I don't know, but we need to make that look good. I have no idea how we're gonna do all that, but we're gonna do it, so stay tuned. Now, normally if I were to cut something like this brace out, like we did, I would save it because it's got good curves. And you never know when you might need something like that. Or you decide you want to put it back in. See, originally we cut this hole in the hood bigger than we actually needed it, because this is a 350. Now on a something smaller, 327, 289, whatever, it needs to have this vent tube in the front. 350 does not need that. However, that tri-power intake I put on here, it can go on any small block Chevy, such as a 350. And I didn't like that sticking through the hood. I don't like the big gap in the front that's there just for that stupid feeler tube vent thing that doesn't technically even need to be there. Not only do I not like this big gap in the front, I don't like how this just open for anybody to walk by and take it off. So we ended up cutting it down shorter. What if I wrecked it? And replacing this section here so it's underneath the hood. Anyway, I'd really like to find that piece. I would really like to think that I didn't throw it away, but sometimes I get in those moods and I throw things away. But so far, I am not finding it. And if we can't find it, that means we need to recreate it. Before that though, we're gonna modify our hood prop here, because what happens is this lower section where the hood prop normally falls into place and holds the hood up, when I close the hood, it lands right about here. And I don't want to modify this header panel we've been making to accommodate the hood prop rod. I'm going to modify the hood prop rod so it'll live happily with our panel here. So my idea is to cut this lower section out and move it up. So that way, this hole where the hood prop goes into will be up here, where my test hole worked out okay. And then that should actually just all look factory, like we didn't even modify it. You guys ever find your tools in the first drawer you look in? I don't always. I think we'll go ahead and replace our cutoff wheel too. Just got a spot weld right here and there. I think if we drill those out and then give it a chopping right there, then move that. Pretty sure that was the plan the other day, wasn't it? Am I backtracking here? Did I already say this? You guys will watch anyway, right? I hope. I appreciate it when you do.
Is it still hot out there?
It got cold. It's been in like the low 50s all day. I know, boo-hoo. I'm from Wisconsin. I know what cold is, okay? But I'm in Southwest Florida now. It's not supposed to be 50 degrees. Speaking of being cold in Wisconsin, we got some big news for the garage. I'll fill you in on that next time. Anyway, I've been looking at this hood here and I cut up some poster board, just trying to get an idea of what I could do with this. I think for these big triangle sections on the sides, And here, we'll probably just cut out a piece of sheet metal, leave it flat, and leave it as an insert that we could put in. And then the rest of the hood, like the bracing, we could do that in the same color, but in a bed liner like we did under the hood. Kind of bring that look up into the hood when it's open. But these inserts will be painted. That's an idea. I don't mind that idea. But I still don't know what to do with this section here in the middle where we cut this hole out. I don't know, either make that brace taper in towards the hole. Let's just deal with this prop rod thing first. So this is a sheet metal hole cutter kit. Little tiny hole saws. These guys are perfect for drilling out them spot welds. Looks like I broke the centering pin last time we used this, so good thing I got a couple more. So there's the broken pin in there. There's an Allen screw on the back side we're gonna have to take off. We're gonna need something to hold that. That'll work. Wrong side. Dummy. Spring, ball. Don't lose the ball. That ball is very important. Press that pin out with this Allen maybe. Come on. Get out. Pick tool. Oh! Found it. Definitely broke. In reverse order, pin. Ball we did not lose. Spring. The Allen set screw. I think this 3/8 one will work. You guys hear that? Sorry guys, that was the dinner bell. Or my stomach. But we're back, and it's still cold this morning. Should be back up into the 70s today, I guess.
It's my favorite.
We'll see. For now, sweatshirt and door closed. Where did we leave off? Oh yeah, we're gonna drill out some spot welds, move that prop rod up. That's what we were gonna do. We could pre-drill a small hole in this spot weld here. We're gonna try to use a Chipinger spring-loaded center punch. Those are both trying to walk around on me. We're gonna have to do a small pilot hole. Oh man, son of a just trying to get through that first layer of sheet metal here. I don't want to put a big hole in it, just around the spot weld. So now if we cut the end of this piece off, it should come off. Should. Really trying to do a better job putting my tools away. Alright, so we're gonna have to take that cutoff wheel and cut that end of that off, but you know what? It's still really early. Forest green pearl from a Pontiac. A wife came out and says, "Ooh, I like that color." I said, "Yeah, it's actually left over from my son Cody's Trans Am," is what I said. And then she had said, "Cody never had a Trans Am." "Yeah, he did." "No, he didn't." "Yeah, it was the one he put the tractor flapper on his exhaust sticking out the back." That was not a Trans Am. Oh yeah. It was a Grand Am. Not sure I should have let those drip like that. Maybe some air will help. Nope. Maybe a rag and some reducer? Mineral spirits? Well, that didn't work at all. Can't even say back to square one or the drawing board because now it just looks like one thing about art, there ain't no rules, I guess. So we got some reducer in there, some paint. It's way over reduced. We're just gonna sprinkle it on there. Splatter it on there like it's 1993. Good. Step away from the canvas and towards the hood. So here's our test hole. That means this would need to be moved from here up to about there. This should move up to a point where this is all going to work and it's not going to get in the way of our little header panel deal. Right? I'm hoping. Probably should have made a mark where our test hole was. But that's all right. I think it's about right here. I think. And just like that, it's morning again. It is that time of year around here where we start seeing family and friends a lot. So time out here has been kind of limited. So this is where we left off. We had this moved and now it's clamped where it looks like it's going to work pretty well. We'll have to clean a little bit in the metal here so we can spot weld that back into place. We'll get a little bit of primer in there while it's easy. I know it's not weld through primer, but that's what we got. It's still really early, but I think the neighbors will be okay listening to this for 2 seconds. I'll have to straighten that out a little bit. All right, we are all welded back together here. Repaired this area here where I chewed it up trying to figure out how to make this work. And my other test hole. We didn't need that anymore, so that's gone. A little bit of cleaning up there, and that'll operate as factory. It's just the hood won't open quite as far. So I definitely want to beef up these hinges a little bit since it'll be kind of hanging off this way rather than straight up and down. Plus we're adding weight to it. And we modified those hinges, meaning we cut some out around the radiator so they're a little wobbly. Another thing I noticed with this hood is that these corners are kind of cracking. So we'll repair those quick too. this area here that used to be the hood latch, we're gonna get rid of that. We're gonna cut that out because we're not using it anymore, because the latch used to live here and it no longer does. I probably could have made it work somehow. Maybe, I mean, that's awfully close to the carburetor and the distributor. I don't know, maybe not. I sold it anyway, or I gave it away. One of the two, I don't know. But it's gone. So that's gotta go. And we'll trim this hood brace around our hole on both sides, just like I got drawn out here. Woo! That's a pretty tight curve. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do it. If I want to try to do this, get out a die grinder that I could use a smaller disc with, or I could just cut it at an angle connecting these two dots and then sneak up to it with either a carbide bit or one of these mini roll-lock discs I have. Thanks to Troy. Rest in peace, my friend. Probably the biggest supporter of the channel ever. Sad news. I think that's how I'm going to do it. I think we'll cut that straight and then round it off nicely with whatever we can find that'll work good, right? Right. This brace in the center here, measure the length on that. Poster board. All right, that'll work. No need to bend up a 10-inch piece of metal with this contour, because I did decide we're going to taper it in. So really, if we had this contour on one side, that would over, leave it long there. That way we can kind of make this brace and that section tapering into the hole all in one piece. I like that. I cut a piece of sheet metal a little bigger than we needed. I cut it at 12 by like 4.5. Be nice to have a good shear. I could just stomp on it and cut a straight line. Someday. I think what we'll do is put this in the sheet metal brake and bend it up so we get this flange on it. All right. So with a whole lot of bending and matching it up to our shape, and I think we got it. I think we got something anyway. So we got our shape there, goes flat, and then it's going to taper out towards the hole. Then we'll cut a piece for the side here, something like that. This corner one, that one's going to be probably the biggest pain in the butt out of all this, because we're going to have to probably stretch one side, probably along here, so that way it gives a nice contour around that corner. Yes, sir. We'll start with finishing this up though. I'm going to clean up the bottom. And it's powder coated, but it's got some scratches down in the metal. I think we'll just do some primer or something on that. Clean up the top, because this has been painted on about 100 times. cleaned up, 2 coats of primer, and then just some rattle can black for good measure. And there we go, that piece is tacked on there. It doesn't look like much now, but it's right. Shape is right, fits good, tapers in towards that hole like we wanted. Huh. You know what? Maybe that corner piece isn't going to be as hard as we thought. It doesn't taper in as much as I thought it was going to. All right, guys, so we got that piece all welded on there, and then I took our poster board pieces and I taped them on here. I wanted to get an idea of how this is all going to work, and you know what? I like it. Haven't explored this end yet, but we'll get there. So now I need to find some sheet metal that we can make these 2 pieces out of. It was not quite 20 by 4.5. It was like 19.5 by 4. But we're gonna look for some metal that's at least that big. Better to be too big than come up short. Think that'll be big enough for the both of them? Might be. Thought we were gonna do better at putting the tools away. We're gonna carefully peel this off. Carefully. There's that dinner bell again. Dollar store ashtrays. Mineral spirits on one side, reducer on the other. And it's got a little spot to put your brush. That's my pinstriping tip of the week. Now that that template is stuck on there, we're going to trace it with this marker, move it, trace it again. So we have 2. Yeah, let's go. All right, we got 1 cut out. I'm going to set it down on here, and it's not going to be right because this is totally flat, but we're going to see how wrong it is. So we could definitely trim it along this edge so it sits a little lower and more flush with the brace. Or like that. Actually ended up trimming quite a bit off of this. Let's see if this even worked. Actually, I think that's pretty good. So yeah, this whole corner here I thought was gonna be kind of a mess, and well, not a mess, but a lot of work that we were gonna have to get this contour. All I did was put it in the brake here and here, and not really put a brake in it, just give it a little bend, and that worked out perfect. And then the way that this brace comes real close to the hole down here at the end, I did a brake the other direction from here all the way to there, so we could tip it in that way. Make sense? Worked pretty dang good. I'm gonna make another one. Now you can see how much we modified this after our tape process. We cut all this out. These were our lines where we put it in the brake. Just want to make a note of them. couple coats of primer, a couple coats of just some flat black paint, just to make sure we don't have any rust issues in there at some point. I mean, we're doing our best anyway with what we got. That'll work out pretty well. We're gonna let that paint set up for a little while though before we weld that on there. Normally, this is where I'd be putting this in a frame like that and putting it on the website for sale. But you know what? This one, being that it was leftover paint from Cody's Grandam, I think I'm going to give it to him. I think I'm going to hang on to this. I'm going to give it to Cody. Should have left the on it.
How's that for you?
Oh man, it is another new day. We have to finish this today. We don't have a choice. It has to be done. This is what we have so far. Obviously needs to be cleaned up and everything. I know it's ugly. That's fine. No matter what you see on Instagram and TikTok and whatever, it's got to look ugly before it looks good. I mean, this is really ugly though. It could look better than this. But hey, whatever. That's what we got. What we have left is these corners. So let's figure out how the heck we're going to get those done. So these are going to turn a 90-degree turn and be at an angle. And the problem that poses is that when it's turning the corner, we're going to either need to stretch it on the top side or shrink it on the bottom side. We might be able to cheat a little bit by strategically cutting the shape. Rather than just straight, we'll kind of give it a little jog to the side. We're going to use tape to figure out that shape and where to stretch it. Because I'd rather stretch it than shrink it. I'm putting the tape on here. We're going to follow that top edge. Now we can see where that's going to need to, you can actually see where it needs to be shrunk more than stretched, but we'll get the idea. We're actually going to transfer this over to a piece of poster board so we can have a little bit more of a solid template than this and see if it worked in the first place. So now you can see where we need to stretch it, but I'm just gonna push it down. And it's gonna change the shape a little bit, but it should be close enough. I'm gonna peel this tape off though. It's kind of distracting. There. Shape is looking okay, so now you see if we push it down in the corner. Get back here. You know, we might not even need to stretch this. Might just need to kind of bend it and push it in the corner like that. But we'll see. If we got to stretch it a little bit, we got to stretch it a little bit. Ugh. It's only 8:30 in the morning. I want to get this done so I can move on to something else, but I really do care about being respectful to the neighbors as far as noise. I mean, 8:30 on a Sunday morning in a super quiet neighborhood, except for me. If only there was a way to time travel in the future, like 3 hours. Whoa. All right, well, let's get it done. That's what I'm here for. Shouldn't let it bounce around like that. That's how you get a cutoff wheel shattered in your face. You know what? That doesn't look like this. What the heck happened? I kept the wrong part. That's what happened. Mulligan. We're just gonna make some reference marks where we're gonna want that to bend. Right in here. I honestly don't think we need to put this in the stretcher. I think we can just kind of bend it by hand because the shape is there. Yeah, guys, that's gonna work. We just bent it a little too much. We'll just take some of that bend out. That'll work. Need some trimming, but that'll work. Weld her up. Is it perfect? No, it is not. Is it done? No, it's not done either. Is it good enough for now because we have some important stuff to do? Yes, it is. Yeah, that's definitely the start of something cool, I think. We are definitely out of time today. But I think once we continue on with what we started, that's gonna look dang good. Appreciate all you. Let me know what you think about what we're doing with the underside of that hood. See you guys next time. Until then, here's another one.